If you're thinking about moving to Maryland, you might want to hit pause because there are some huge traps that even smart people fall into when they relocate here. I've seen it all firsthand. So in this video, I'm walking you through some of the biggest myths about Maryland and how to sidestep every single one just like a local. And number 7, that one surprises even people who grew up here. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Caryn, a native Marylander and a real estate agent for over 20 years. Yes, I am that old. And today I'm here to save you from making these same mistakes I see time and again. I've worked with tons of people moving in here from out of state, and they all seem to run into these same false assumptions. So if you want to avoid expensive regrets, embarrassing surprises, or straight up culture shock, grab a coffee or a glass of wine, take a seat, and I'm going to share with you the top 10 things people get wrong about Maryland. So let's dive right in. First up, Maryland is part of the South. Now I know, yes, technically we are below the Mason-Dixon line, but culturally you'll feel far more northeast here than deep south the minute you cross the state line. You won't hear people saying y'all on the regular, at least I hope not. There's no widespread love of grits, and no, people do not wave at strangers if you kind of make eye contact. We're just not like that here. Maryland's culture is this unique blend of DC policy energy, East Coast bluntness, and Chesapeake Bay charm. I might have a little of that. It is not sweet tea, French porch hospitality. It's more like steamed crabs on a picnic table, possibly talking politics at dinner, and, this is true, honking at people who don't know how to merge. You want the South? Just drive a few more miles down 95 because here in Maryland, we're doing our own thing. Next up, it's always cold and gray here. Now, to be honest, this one I hear more from my California buyers or people that are moving here from the Sun Belt. They think Maryland is just constant clouds and misery. And sure, we do have our gray days, but let's break it down. Summers here, they're hot. Like heat index of 103 hot. It's pretty normal for the weather forecaster here to say, today the temperature is going to be 95, but it feels like 115. And guess what? It does. You're going to be sweating in your clothes just walking to the car. July and August are hot, humid, sticky. In my opinion, it can be brutal. And then the winters, well, yes, we do get some snow here, but no massive snowstorms every week. It's enough to be cozy, you know, a glass of hot chocolate, looking outside, seeing the beautiful snow. And maybe school will close sometimes. Actually, here in Maryland, if they even think it's gonna snow, they will delay or they will close school. No joke. So if you're moving here from one of those snowy states, you will be in a bit of culture shock, because Maryland seems to react very severely to the snow when it comes to school. It's good times when you're a working parent, so just be aware. But it's nothing like the Midwest or New England. In fact, if you are moving from a snowy state, be prepared to get super frustrated with the snow predictions because they're rarely right. What people really underestimate is how beautiful, stunning the fall is here. The leaves actually turn postcard colors, bright reds and oranges and golds. It's really my favorite season, and one of the reasons I so looked forward to moving back to Maryland after living in California for 9 years. And spring here, spring is gorgeous too. The azaleas bloom, the cherry blossoms all come out. It is really, really pretty. The downside, on the other hand, of spring is the allergies. If you have allergies, especially to pollen, spring can be a bit challenging here. It is not uncommon for you to see cars covered in all that green dust. So just be aware, if you have allergies, the springs here, they can be brutal. So no, Maryland is not a frozen tundra. It's more like an emotional roller coaster with seasonal whiplash. And that can be part of the fun. In fact, a normal April day, it can start off in the morning like 30, 35 degrees. And then by noon, it can be about 70, 75, really beautiful. And then by evening, it's all hot and humid and 80 degrees. The fun part is, the next day, it can be the opposite. But here's the good news. Where else can you experience all 4 seasons in the same day? Number 3, Maryland is just suburbs of DC. If I had $1 for every person who thought Maryland ended at the Beltway, I could easily pay for my 2 college kids' tuitions. Yes, Montgomery County and Prince George's County are full of commuters, but once you get past Silver Spring and College Park, you realize how much more there is. Baltimore has its own gritty, artistic, sports-loving culture. There's an energy there. People love that city and they will defend it to its death. It's not DC light, it's Baltimore. Period. Annapolis brings historic charm, waterfront dining, cobblestone streets, and an entire sailing culture that feels like you stepped into a New England postcard. Head west and Maryland completely changes again. Western Maryland is all about the outdoors. You've got real mountains, hiking trails, ski resorts, and towns like Deep Creek Lake that feel nothing like DC or Baltimore. In fact, it feels more like parts of West Virginia or even parts of Pennsylvania. Totally different pace, vibe, and landscape. And then there's the Eastern Shore. Cross the Bay Bridge and it's like entering a different state. Quiet towns, scenic drives, crab shacks, and really beautiful coastal charm. So no, Maryland is not just one big DC suburb. Yes, there is a DC orbit, but don't ignore the rest of the state. It's diverse, it's spread out, and there are a lot of really incredible hidden gems. Number 4, the taxes are outrageous. Maryland taxes sound scary until you compare them. Yes, we have state income tax. And yes, property taxes vary by county. But you know what we don't have? That personal property car tax that Virginia hits you with every year. And it's not cheap. I've had people, these are true stories, that actually had several cars and decided to move from Virginia to Maryland to avoid paying that car tax every year. It adds up. And if you're coming from New York, Connecticut, or even California, Maryland will actually feel reasonable. Plus, you get what you pay for in many areas. High-performing schools, great public parks, solid infrastructure. It's not perfect, but it's not robbery either. I always tell my clients, don't judge the tax rate in isolation. Run the numbers for your lifestyle. Because in some areas, even with the taxes, your overall cost of living might be lower than what you're used to. Number 5, crabs are overrated. Absolutely not. That is crab blasphemy. Maryland blue crabs are not just a meal, they're a ritual. If you have never spent a summer afternoon on a screened-in porch, elbow deep in shell bits and Old Bay spice, you haven't lived. It is not about being fancy. It's about the experience. You got newspaper on the table, you got a beer in hand, someone in the corner complaining how they don't make crabs like they used to. It's messy, it's slow, it's social, and it is the most Maryland thing you can do. And here's a bonus tip. Never ever ask for butter. You dip it in vinegar or you're gonna really get the side eye. Moving on to number 6. Ocean City is like the Hamptons. Ocean City is not the Hamptons. Ocean City is hot dogs and boogie boards, not rosé and beach clubs. It's where your high school reunion ends up every Memorial Day weekend. It's the place where flip-flops are formal wear and the Thrasher's bucket of fries, well, that can be dinner. It's chaotic and nostalgic and it's packed with memories. But if you're looking for a bougie beach town energy, you're in the wrong place. Instead, try St. Michael's, Oxford, or possibly Solomon's Island. Quieter, classier, and a better fit if your summer involves wine tastings and spa days. Or you can always go to the Delaware beaches. They're just as close and they just offer you more places to choose from. I grew up going to Ocean City with my parents and our family friends, but now as an adult, I took my kids to Rehoboth Beach in Delaware. It just feels a little more bougie. Don't judge me. Still Delaware. It's not the Hamptons. And quite honestly, Ocean City and Rehoboth, they're both the same distance from my house. So if you are thinking about moving to Maryland, specifically Montgomery County where I live, but you want some more beach options, maybe check it out. Okay, tricky number 7. Maryland has great schools everywhere. This is where a lot of people, especially those moving here from out of state, get completely blindsided. They Google top school districts in Maryland and read a couple glowing articles and think, okay, we're good. But school quality varies drastically depending on your exact location. I've had people contact me to buy in what they thought was an A+ zip code, only to find out that the homes that they were looking at were zoned for the one underperforming school in the area. It can be really frustrating if you don't live here and really understand the area. So you gotta check specific school ratings. There are two websites. There's niche.com, which in my opinion, they kind of rate the schools on the high end. And there's bestschools.org, which in my opinion, they kind of rate schools on the low end. So look at both and compare them. You should also look at feeder patterns, which elementary schools feed into the middle and high school. And also, in my opinion, this is the most important, you should really read the parent reviews, because the parents, they're gonna tell you pretty much everything that you wanna know about that school. And yes, test scores and safety data. Even expensive areas can have average schools. And some more affordable communities have some hidden gems. So don't assume. Ask, dig, and definitely talk to a local agent who really knows the lay of the land. Number 8, there is nothing to do outside. That could not be more wrong. Maryland is a small state, but it is stacked with outdoor options. And the best part is, you don't have to drive far to get to them. If you're into hiking or mountain views, head west to Deep Creek Lake, Swallow Falls, or the Appalachian Trail near Hagerstown. You'll get real elevation, pine forests, waterfalls. You might even forget you're on the East Coast. You love the water? Well, welcome to the Chesapeake Bay. You can paddleboard on the Severn, kayak in Kent Narrows, or go boating in Annapolis. And yes, you can even go surfing in Assateague Island, where wild horses roam on the beach. It's magical. And then you have my favorite right here in Montgomery County, Great Falls National Park and the Billy Goat Trail. It is absolutely breathtaking. And the Billy Goat Trail is one of the most scenic and slightly intense hikes you can go on. You got rock scrambles, river views, and photo ops galore. It's the kind of hike that really makes you forget that you're even that close to the Beltway and DC. Cyclists? Well, we got something for you too. We got the Capitol Crescent Trail, the BWI Loop, and scenic routes in Howard County that feel like you're just rolling through a painting. And for families or casual weekenders, there are state parks all over. Patasco Valley, Seneca Creek, Greenbrier, even Gunpowder Falls. You can hike, fish, picnic, or just hang out. Plus, don't forget, you do have Washington, D.C. right next door, and it is packed with free things to do outdoors. You can walk the National Mall and visit all of those monuments in just one afternoon. You can pack a lunch and picnic at Rock Creek Park, which by the way, is bigger than Central Park in New York. Or you can rent a paddle boat and go paddling around the tidal basin in the spring and the summer. Or you can catch an outdoor movie or concert on a summer night at the Wharf or Yards Park. The bottom line, if you are bored in Maryland or DC, you're just doing it wrong. And the best part, you can hit the mountains and the beach in the same weekend. It's compact, but mighty. Number 9, Maryland drivers are the worst. Okay, that's fair. But have you driven in Northern Virginia? Just saying. Yes, we have our quirks. You will encounter sudden lane changes, endless merging on the Beltway, and that one person doing 40 miles an hour in the fast lane. But honestly, we're not alone. DC, Virginia, Delaware, they've all got traffic issues. We just talk about it here more. So if you're new here, my advice, use Waze, leave early, and accept that road rage is practically a love language here in the DMV. And finally, number 10, Maryland is not diverse. This one really shocks people. Maryland is one of the most diverse states in the entire country. According to WalletHub's 2025 report, Maryland ranks number 9 in overall diversity nationwide. Here's what that means. Montgomery County's public school system alone supports over 150 languages. Ethiopian cafes in Silver Spring, Vietnamese restaurants in Rockville, Salvadorian restaurants in Wheaton, halal food trucks, Korean barbecue, it goes on and on and on. And this is not just in the cities. Diversity shows up in the suburbs as well. Maryland is a true cultural patchwork and one of the best parts about living here. People are really surprised when they move here and realize just how multicultural daily life actually is. It's not just a bullet point. It is woven into the fabric of this beautiful state. So, did anything about Maryland surprise you? Whether you're relocating here soon or just daydreaming about it from afar, I hope this video helped clear up some of the biggest myths and misconceptions about the Old Line State. Maryland does have its quirks, but if you know what to expect and you are informed, you can really find a home here that fits your lifestyle. What's the one thing that you used to believe about Maryland that you got wrong? Put it in the comments. I'd really like to know. And if you are thinking about moving here and you would like our help, just send me an email. We'll set up a Zoom. We'll get you started. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!